What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Random Binder Scraps. This is Chris coming at you with another one, and today is Black Friday, and I don't plan on doing much for the rest of the day other than like another workout with our trainer, but today I did something that I haven't done in absolute years, which is Black Friday shopping in person, and that's also like a doorbuster trip to Gamestop. Like, it was pretty funny. So my local Gamestop usually doesn't open till like noon. I think maybe 11 a.m. on some days, but I've been hitting the gym very early, the past couple months at this point, somewhere between like 6, these days 5:30. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna be going to the gym anyway to try to like beat all the people that are trying to work off their turkey, myself included. And my local GameStop was open at 5, so I got there at 5:30. Didn't want to like run into anybody who's been like camping out to, I don't know what people were up to. When I got there was just one couple, and clearly somebody was trying to game the system. They're like, oh wow, you really cleaned us out there. And she was trying to convince her partner to like get an Assassin's Creed game to like, I don't know, get her total cost where it needed to be. I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was all fine, but I went Black Friday shopping at 5:30 a.m. at my local GameStop and bought me some used games, and it was a good time. I figured this is a quick one. We'll kind of just like flip through the games I got and like why I got them, and and then I can tell a little bit of story time afterwards for those who care, about like some of the interactions in the store. But yeah, like I said, it was just me and a couple folks here and there, but. So they were running nothing crazy. Like, I kind of know going to GameStop at this point that, I'm going to be paying like eBay prices, but without the shipping and handling and all that, and I can really see it in front of me. And obviously there are games in which they are way above market value, but that was kind of the rationale here. And they were running a buy two, get one sale on all used games. And this isn't a big deal because they like that all the time, but I never get like a newsletter from my local GameStop, so I never know. And I have such memories of some of the titles behind me, like the original Xbox games that are, I bought like a $5.99 game and a $4.99 game to get this like $3.99 game for free, and now they're all worth like 20 to 30 bucks each CIB. So it's cool to like have that experience back again. I feel like nothing's ever like a really good sale at GameStop these days when I go, so it was nice to finally have that. So in terms of the games, I went in search of Switch games that I own digitally. I guess for those of you who don't know me and don't know the intricacies of my gaming life during the, from 2018 to 2022 probably, I don't know, it's very, very niche here. If you didn't do your homework, understandable. I basically went fully digital for the PS4 and for the Switch early on until somewhat recently. And honestly, I don't even really remember what like changed that. I think watching the Gaming Off the Grid YouTube channel has, really influenced me, and like getting into collecting YouTube, being like, damn, like I really wish I had my PS4 copy of God of War. I just got it digitally. God of War, at least I had rented on Redbox for a day, and it was like, this is amazing. Brought it back and then bought it digitally. Horizon Zero Dawn, I have like a fun story of like downloading that over my crappy college, not dial-up internet, but like pretty rough internet, and it took literally all night. So I watched the movie Moonlight and then a couple other Oscar-nominated movies that fucked me up until about like 4 a.m. until I could actually play it. But that being said, there's Super Mario Odyssey is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't own that. I don't own Tears of the Kingdom. That was like the last real digital game that I bought. So I saw they had Odyssey for like 20 or 30 bucks, and I saw they had buy one get one, or buy two get one. So I was hoping to clean up there. The only Switch game that I did get was a game that I do not own and have never played, which is new Pokemon Snap. 35 bucks, it's not like an incredible deal, but the case is in perfectly fine condition. I know there's no insert to my knowledge. It's just this like, this cover art on the inside that they could have done a bit better with, but I really, really wanted this game, and I'm starting to finally pull the trigger on some of the Pokemon games in this Switch generation. Like, Shield is one of my favorite, in my top 10, I think, favorite games of all time, if memory serves. And, I don't own that physically, unfortunately. I own Violet, which, I like that as well, but I passed on Shining on I passed on Diamond and Pearl remake. I'm making up for that soon. I got the digital version of Arceus and like I haven't beat it, so I'm not trying to pay like 50, 60 bucks for that quite yet, but I do want to pull the trigger on some of these Pokemon titles soon, the Mystery Dungeon remake, stuff like that, before they go crazy up in price. So yeah, I got new Pokemon Snap, and then the other relatively new game that I got is Dragon's Dogma 2, 35 bucks. I was like, it's so dumb because I own Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen digitally on 3 platforms now. I got it on Xbox when it first dropped to, on Xbox, One, Xbox Series, when it first dropped to $4.99. And then I got it on PC as well when it dropped to, it was on $4.99 on Steam. And I was like, cool, I have what I need, all good. And I was like, realistically, I've been playing my PlayStation Portal like constantly, and like this feels like a really good like PlayStation game. Like I'm really just trying to play on my PS5 at this point and my Switch. And then just chip away at my backlog with Xbox, when I'm playing some RPGs on the PS5 and like needed kind of a quick palate cleanser, like a Gears Judgment, a Vanquish, games like that. But Dragon's Dogma 2, I had such FOMO about. I'm like, it's such like a cool next gen game to have, and I don't know, man. It felt like the right price to me. So it felt like, all right, I can girl math my way into basically saying I got this half off. So very excited about it. I do plan on playing Dark Arisen in like January, February. I'm split between that and Kingdom Come Deliverance first, but nope, just kidding. I'm gonna play Dragon's Dogma first, then I'm gonna play Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 when Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes out. So cut off a bit of the FOMO. Realistically, it's gonna take me fucking forever to play that game, but yeah, so it was cool to like get, what, I think this came out in 2024. So this came out like earlier this February. So it's cool to have that for a solid price. And then, this isn't exactly how it works, but the free game would be the Medium, which was 25 bucks. I've seen it for 25 bucks on Video Games Plus, and eBay, it's more expensive than that. So I worry about horror games going up in price. I'm scarred from like my feeble attempts to collect for Silent Hill and for, some Resident Evil stuff. We'll get to that in a second. But I really just want to experience this game for myself, and I want to experience it physically, like have it physically. It's a short game, so I might replay it in the future, and I just really wanted it. So I've been looking at it on Video Games Plus so many different times, added it to my cart so many times, and the fact that I just had it in hand, I was like, you know what, fine. So the math doesn't exactly work out this way. There's the rest of these games are 20 bucks, but let's just say I got new Pokemon Snap and Dragon's Dogma 2 and got the Medium out of it for free. That makes me happy personally. And then for the other 3 games, pretty straightforward. I have the Resident Evil Origins Collection with the remaster of 1 and of 0. And I'll just group it all in one. And then I have Resident Evil Revelations, which I thought didn't get a PS4 physical port. I couldn't find one for the NSRB copy anywhere. I could only find 2, and I could find PAL versions of this. So Revelations 1 and 2 I've heard were like really great returns to that Resident Evil, survival horror type of formula. I know that Revelations 1 came on the 3DS, but I heard it was a good return to form after 5 and 6 especially. So now my Resident Evil PS4 collection includes Origins, which I don't have to worry about going up in price, Revelations 1 and 2, which I definitely don't have to worry about going up in price, and I don't have to play on the 3DS. And then I have Resident Evil 7 with the PSVR mode included. And then, I have the digital version of Resident Evil 2 Remake on PS5. And then I have, all the retro stuff on PS3. So, yeah, I look forward to checking out these games finally, The only problem is the tank controls on the original Resident Evil and the remake remake here. I just couldn't quite figure out, but I'm hoping I got it physically. I'm gonna like really get in the headspace for it and kind of commit to it, and I'm sure I'll end up really loving it. I'm playing through it whether I like it or not, so and I'll have the portal. I can go in a pitch black room and use the portal as well and have that beautiful screen to play through it a bit. Because I won't always have that, perfectly dark living room. My damn camera shut off randomly, but yeah, so I won't always have like a perfectly dark living room to play horror games in. I think something like using the portal in like our spare bedroom that has the windows blacked out, that'll be like a good experience to play horror in when I can't just kind of park myself in front of my office TV in the pitch black. So all good there. So yeah, I got, you know, a big portion of my Resident Evil collection kind of bolstered, and like a lot of like the unknown taken out of the back of my brain, where I know like Resident Evil 2 and 3 are getting reprints on the PS5, so like if I want to get them that way I can. I have Resident Evil 7 on the PS4 with the VR version, so if I want to get, you know, the gold version, you know, I can pick up Village when it's super cheap, you know, things like that. I can just fill out the rest of the known quantities of the collection, which is exciting. And then yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 is just like, you know, it's hard to make sense of, but it's a Black Friday game. It's like one of the big games of the year, and I was happy to be able to get that on Black Friday. It was like really cool. It's not like I'm not only getting like older games, retro games, like games from 2022. It's like cool to get a 2024 game from GameStop, like for what I feel is a great deal. And then the medium, thank God, like much like Resident Evil, it's like I'm excited to play it, excited to have experienced it, and now every time Bloober Team gets brought up, I'm not like having that FOMO or that like, oh no, like is the medium gonna somehow be a hidden gem one day? Like, you know, whatever that picture-taking game is, like, you know, that series, like, I want to say Shattered Dimension, not even close. Doesn't matter. Fatal Frame is what I was thinking of. You know, is it gonna be like a deep cut where it's like, oh, it was misunderstood for the time? Who knows? But yeah, 6 games for like a little, about $100 is not horrible. And you know, one of them is brand new to me. One of them came out this year. One of them I think could shoot up one day. And then just the peace of mind of having these goddamn games and really getting my foot through the door with Resident Evil in an earnest way of like completing these games. Because I just kept trying the old ones on my PS3 and it was never the right setting. So fingers crossed. Now, that's pretty much it. That's the haul. You know, or nothing crazy, I'm sure, but you know, I've picked up some other things from Video Game Plus, some other things from like Best Buy as a rewards member that, you know, I'll talk through at some point, and you know, definitely gonna plan on doing, now that I'm kind of locking up my PS4, PS5, Switch collection, I want to do a deep dive on each collection I have, the games I've played, the games I haven't, and kind of, you know, make some little challenges, make some, you know, maybe roll some dice and figure out like what I'm gonna play when. So excited about that. And then just the last little piece I wanted to include here was some fun stories about the GameStop visit that I had today. So yeah, obviously I got there at 5:30. Like the woman working there was just like so tired and so done. And I felt bad. I'm like, I wouldn't request them to be open this ungodly early, but you know, and I know it sucks. You know, when you're younger, I think they're like out of college age, maybe like, you know, mid-20s. Could be, you know, hard to tell with guys especially, but the woman there was just, you know, she was a good sport. But I knew not to kind of chirp their ear off. And there's some other people that were coming in just like hoodie on, parka on, like, you know, didn't want to talk. So I was just trying to be like pleasant, but like also respect everybody's boundaries. And then there was just one guy that came in who was just like really bubbly, and apparently he works at a nightclub, so that makes sense why he was so awake and everybody else except me wasn't. And so he was really fun. Shout out to this gentleman. I didn't get his name, but you know, he grew up in Hong Kong, I guess, and you know, Sarah spent like 10 years of her life in Beijing, so that was cool to kind of hear like his perspective of like, you know, experiencing American Thanksgiving and American Black Friday, and how weird it is, which I thought was fun. And just like a little cool tidbit, I think that was it. You know, the woman working there was saying like her nephew went up to her yesterday and was like, I'm grateful for every one of you. And then was just like, I want a PS5 for Christmas. And I just thought that was like really funny. Like her delivery was excellent. And, you know, this 8-year-old, honestly, that 8-year-old's going somewhere. But an 8-year-old trying to kind of finesse social graces, I'm like, that's smarter than I was at 8. I think it wasn't until I was like 12, 13 that I could even think of a scheme that extensive. So, but this guy, he had dropped off some cards to get graded. So while those were getting put together, you know, we were kind of just chatting, and I was going to the gym that morning. I went to Planet Fitness for a couple hours, got a great workout in, but you know, instead of my normal like Gymshark attire, I put on my Son Goku shirt and my Demon Slayer socks. So he was like, oh, I love the fit. Like, unfortunately I work in the the nightclub industry. So like I got to dress like this, and it was fun. But so he finally got these cards graded, and he's like, these are like from like I bought these in the 90s, to the guy working there who was very tired, and then to me as well. I was like, no, that's awesome. Like, spoiler for another video is I just came back from my parents' house with like all of my vintage Nintendo powers from the GameCube launch and all of my, Prima guides from back in the day that I was stoked to have. And obviously I'm not grading them, but I was like, holy shit, like the fact that I still have these things from like this era from the late 90s, early 2000s is amazing. And, for him, he's like, the fact that they could be worth anything at all is remarkable. He was saying like his dad must have traveled or something, but his dad brought his cards over in his like elementary school lunchbox. I forget what the brand was, but he brought over in a lunchbox from the Philippines, and so he gets them graded, and the top one is an 8. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm glad it's something. 8 isn't too bad. And the guy working there was like, oh yeah, like they're not in any order. So, and he's like, well, let me see what they're. And I was like, let's go. Like I was chipper. I hadn't had my pre-workout yet, but. I was in a good mood, and I was like, let's do it, man. Like, let's see what you got. And then I was like, I don't know shit about cards, to be perfectly honest. So he starts, and they're really cool. Is they're the X-Men animated series, like Marvel trading cards. So he got they're not all X-Men. So he got whoever was on the top of the 8. He had a 9 graded Carnage, which was really cool. 9 graded Storm, and then he got his 10. He got a 10 graded Jean Grey, and he's like, I got a 10, and just like a quick like circle. I gave him a huge high five. It was just like really wholesome. Like I'll always think back on this Black Friday very fondly for that one interaction of like him being the main character of his own story. He was like, I got a 10. He's like, these are the first cards I've ever graded. And of course, the GameStop employees are like, well, like, welcome to GameStop. Like, come back every week. Like, can I interest you in some Pokemon cards? And he's like, are those the new ones? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, no. So it was like really funny. He's just like a funny guy, He was obviously like very awake and like, kind of just wanted to chat with people. And, obviously I would love to have chatted with him more, but it just wasn't the venue for it. But it was very wholesome, and like I could see him being on his, like once we both checked out at the same time, I went to my car, and as I was, getting ready to leave, I could see him like on his phone, like taking the picture in front of the GameStop, and I think he was like calling somebody to let him know. So it was really cool. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to the people at GameStop. If you made it this far, shout out to you. I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. I personally did. It was great to catch up with, my family and just like have Duncan, my little dog, running around, and I'll insert some really cute pictures here of him napping off. He didn't have any turkey, but him being all of us napping off all the turkey. So very wholesome, and yeah, just excited to play some video games on this Black Friday. Just kind of like detached from work and from like finally like this is like my last like real shopping trip of like the holiday season. So I look forward to just kind of stop checking Wario 64 and like all like the deals and stuff. Like I've gotten enough. Like I feel good about where my collection is and is going to be by the time Christmas is over. My mom's picking me up some cool like games from Walmart and stuff like that were great deals from this generation. So all good things. I'm very grateful, feeling very thankful for my games, for the people who comment on my videos, which is really awesome. I have a very wholesome mini community of people commenting about the PlayStation Portal in the one video that kind of caught the algorithm a little bit compared to my normal ones, which was like my PlayStation Portal unboxing, which I filmed on a whim. I'll talk about it, some other day, but basically it was, I ordered the PlayStation Portal pickup during my fiance's bachelorette party. So I dropped her off at the airport and then swung by, picked up some games that had gotten stopped at the UPS store, picked those up, and then went to my old neighborhood's Best Buy to pick up a Portal. And then went home and just filmed it like before. I was like, had 5 minutes before like my workday started. So, filmed it real quick, and it's continuing to get views, continuing to get likes, subs from it, and comments. So very cool, great, thankful for the PlayStation Portal and like how many games it's allowed me to play since picking it up in like, what was it, like September, October, or whatever. So, and thankful for any of you who stayed this far. I've yammered on long enough, but yeah, shout out to Black Friday. Let me know in the comments like what you've picked up, if you've played any of these games, if you think, I know at least somebody's gonna think I overpaid for Revelations or for Origins Collection. Like, I'm sure you can get Origins Collection. Used to be able to get it for like 12, now it's probably like 15, but like with shipping. I just wanted to kind of, wash my hands of it. And it was technically one of them was free, so, great deal. But that's my experience with GameStop. That's my experience with Black Friday. And I'm realizing now that waking up at 5 a.m., I need another coffee. So thank you so much. Catch you in the next one later. Bah!